What'd you say you played?
Folk songs.
Folk songs. Solo act?
No, I had a partner. Threw himself off the George Washington Bridge.
George Washington Bridge? You throw yourself off the Brooklyn Bridge, traditionally. George Washington Bridge. Who does that?
If I had wings like Noah's dove, I'd fly the river.
Explain the cat.
What's its name? I don't know.
It's the Gorfin's cat.
It slipped out and I don't have the key.
My honey, fare thee well.
Don't tell Jim.
Oh!
Obviously.
Well, I had a man, strong and tall. He moved his body like a cannonball. Well, fare thee well.
Mel, there was no advance on my solo record. There's got to be some royalty. For Christ's sake, it's cold out. I don't even have a winter coat.
You're kidding me.
Hey, this kid.
No.
I remember one evening in the pouring rain, and in my heart.
Do you ever think about the future at all?
You mean like flying cars? Hotels on the moon? Tang?
I want you to leave. Get out of here.
Danny, your uncle's a bad man.
Okay.
So show us a bird flying high above. Life ain't worth living without the one you love. Fare thee well, my honey, fare thee well.
I'm interested in gigging here.
Okay, let's hear something.
You don't want to hear the record?
Why should I? You're here. Play me something.
Play me something from inside Llewyn Davis.
Fare thee well.
Okay.
"30 films I'm finally seeing, one a day all June long. And then after, if you're asking, yes, I'll be podcasting. 'Cause movie month's back, and I'll be the man. To watching podcast all month long. Yeah, movie month's back for 30 straight days again. And I hope each day you come along. Please come along, don't just stay here for this song. 'Cause it's movie month time, this is a movie month. Ooh, 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 honey, it's movie month time, yeah, this is a movie month. Ooh, 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 honey, it's movie month time, yeah, this is a movie month. Ooh, 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 please listen to me as I talk movies.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. 1 second, please.
Please, Mr. Kennedy,
Uh-oh.
I don't wanna go.
Don't shoot me in the outer space.
Oh, please, Mr. Kennedy,
Uh-oh.
I don't wanna go.
Don't shoot me in the outer space.
I sweat when they stuff me in the pressure suits. Rubble, helmet, dashboard, and boots. Nowhere up there
Outer
in gravity zero.
space.
I need to breathe, don't need to be a space.
Happy Sunday, everybody. It's June 16th, which means today, for the 16th day in a row, I've watched a movie I've never seen before, and I'm here podcasting about it to you, the people of Earth. Folks, today is a very special day in Movie Month. It is the Chris Morris Invitational. If you aren't familiar with Chris, he has been a kind of a staple on Movie Month, though he's never appeared on Movie Month. Movie Month is pretty much a solo venture, but he has appeared on 1 year of Marty McFly. He's appeared on Joggist. He's appeared on every year of Sitcom All Ye Faithful, and he is one of my co-hosts. He's the co-host who puts effort in on my other podcast, my other movie podcast, Fine Movies, Fine Spirits. We just recorded a new episode, so look for that for that to be coming out very soon. And often he sends me movies and says, "You haven't seen this? You got to see this." And this one, today's movie, Inside Llewyn Davis, this one, I think he started after me. I'm going to say 2022, maybe. I feel like it was definitely last year at least, but it might have been a year, an extra year or another year. And now he's after our buddy Dave. He's the other podcast. If you listen to the newest episode, he's the one who's podcasting out and about in a town, and he, ends by having to go to the bathroom. That's pretty much how the podcast ends. But he wants to get him into it so that then we could cover this movie for that podcast as well. You may notice sometimes if you go to fansnotexperts.com, a couple movies are listed twice. They're listed because of movie month, and they're listed because of Fine Movies, Fine Spirits. Two very different experiences, but both include ya boy, and some of them include Chris's voice. Yes, even though he's never made a full appearance on Movie Month, he has called in, he has left voicemails, and that includes today's movie. So why don't we take a moment to listen to Chris's thoughts? Let's do that right now. Podcast editing. Wait. Podcast editing magic.
Outer space. Sorry, had to do that. Mikey, very excited for this year's Chris Moore's entry into Movie Month. So when I first used to see this movie trailer, didn't look like like a fun movie, even though I love all the Coen Brothers movies. Just didn't strike me that I had to see it until I heard it on a top list of 2010s. I finally watched it and I fell in love with this movie. Oscar Isaac is incredible, amazing singer, all-time character, kind of an asshole. Great music in it. Supporting characters are great. Lots of interpretations about the movie. It's like the Odyssey. The cat's name is Ulysses. You could see it's stuck in a time loop with the same beginning and end. The cat is his dead partner. Llewyn's dead, I even read recently. I think it's, you can tell it's about missed opportunities and wasted lives, quality versus being, marketable. He's obviously, Bud Grossman saw no money in him. So such a sad character. You hear the very marketable Dylan at the end, Dylan-like character. So, but I love this movie. Watch it every year, kind of randomly around Thanksgiving for some reason, just to get myself to watch it, to remind myself to watch it. But boy, that Jean is something. Love to fuck her. Sorry. But enjoy. Hope you like the movie. Haven't heard your take. Peace.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh no!
Well, I think that covers it pretty much. So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that great message. And I'm saying that having listened to it. I'm not doing the obligatory pretend that I didn't listen to it. I listened to it, and I so that I can actually talk about what he said. And that's what he said. The whole Ulysses thing, of course I picked up on that. No, I didn't at all. I saw that in the trivia afterwards. And even, the fact that Llewyn was like, his name is Ulysses, like he picked up on it too. And to me, I just thought I didn't look at it as subtext. I almost looked at it as him thinking, wow, that cat's been on quite an adventure, instead of him being on, the Incredible Journey. They even showed that movie poster, was it called The Incredible Journey, the original one, or Homeward Bound? I know there's one that came out like in the 90s, but then there's the original one that was in the theaters that we see a movie poster for it. But I didn't look at the idea of the time loop. I didn't look at the idea of the character, is dead, or the cat is his partner. Maybe it represents the fact that he's, trying to hold on to something, but finally lets it go. I don't know. That's a cool way of looking at it. And I'd almost want to revisit the movie, with that thought in mind. I watched this free using my library card. It's on Pluto, but I watched it through Hoopla, and which was great because there were no commercials. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. So, Christopher, I can without a doubt say thank you for this recommendation. I love the fact, I texted back to him, I love that the Coens can do these hyper realistic, kinetic like movies with very colorful characters like Lebowski, Raising Arizona, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? But then they can do these much more grounded movies. Now, there are colorful characters in this movie. There's one who just loves the smack, but the movie, there's nothing in the movie that would be like, oh, that couldn't happen. There was no fantastical part to it, except, or at least that was my thinking, except when Chris said maybe there was, or maybe that's the kind of, is it the subtext? Am I saying that right? So yes, Oscar Isaac, thoroughly impressed. I am a guitarist. I am not anywhere near like where I'm comfortable, being a full finger picking folk musician, but I have an acoustic. I like to pick it up. And I have to admit, at some moments during this, I picked up my guitar and I was kind of playing along. Not as good as Oscar Isaac, because I guess Oscar Isaac actually played his guitar, all of it himself. I was blown away by that because as someone who plays guitar, when I see people playing guitars in movies, I often watch their hands to see if they're actually playing. And yeah, I know a lot of people you could see playing. A lot of people can get away with playing fairly simple cowboy chords, but which I looked up, and I guess they're saying those are the basic chords. They use a lot of open strings and use only a few of your fingers. They're basically the chords that you're taught when you learn guitar. And to me, they're the chords I play most of the time when I'm playing my acoustic guitar. Of course, a jazz musicianist is the snob who looks down on that type of quote unquote musicianship. But I was impressed not only with his voice, because you can fake it in a good way, but you can't fake it to the level where it's like, oh, it sounds like Oscar Isaac. It's not like he's talking, all of a sudden he has a beautiful voice that you just tell isn't quite his. But as far, he could have been doing a lot of this live in camera. I don't know about that, but all the guitar work, as far as I can tell, looked real. The singing looked real, and it was like it's folk music to me is something that I guess I kind of love, even though I don't have a giant history with it. I don't listen to it a great deal, but I know what I like, and I love acoustic music, and I love harmonies. And I remember even, in my high school years when I'm listening to the grunge and all the metal, I still had this, I fell in love with a band called Crash Test Dummies, which they're like a weird mix of weird rock and folk, kind of. With a deep voice, and I gravitated towards them when they first had that that one song, and that might be like their 30th best song. I ended up getting a bunch of their tapes, maybe CDs, and just was really into them. And they're, again, not folk, but very close to it. And sometimes Pearl Jam puts out songs that have that feeling too. I just am a sucker for a guitar and a voice, whatever the music is. It could be folk, it could be R&B, it could be rock. You can do all kinds of stuff with just a voice and a guitar, and it just even without me knowing, maybe I wouldn't consider myself a fan of folk. Oh, I'm a folk music guy, but apparently I am, because I loved all the music in this. Obviously, was it Mr. Kennedy Mr. President, Mr. Kennedy, that song that Chris sent. It was almost like his, when movie studios put out For Your Consideration, he sent this. That was part of his For Your Consideration package to watch this movie for either, Fine Movies, Fine Spirits, or for Movie Month. And Movie Month won out first. I just was with this movie the whole way. I'm trying to say, what's the plot of the movie? And the title of the movie is kind of the plot of the movie. Inside Llewyn Davis. That's a kind of a play on words as far as it has double meaning. That's the name of his first solo album. And it's kind of what you experience watching this movie. You're just seeing this guy trying to navigate in the world of music in the 60s, in the folk scene, in either New York or a moment in Chicago. A guy who had moderate success, and we just kind of learn along the way that he had a partner. We see the album. We hear he had a partner named Mike, who they don't say right away what happens, but then you realize, or you come to see that he committed suicide jumping off the George Washington Bridge. And of course, the great John Goodman couldn't even take that and be subtle with it. He's like, the George Washington, nobody does that. They jump off the Brooklyn Bridge. That's how you do it. Like, he couldn't even hold back his snobbery and critique of other people with that. Now that we don't get much more than that, except they had a career, they had albums. I think they were good, as far as they were successful. But for whatever reason, he died by suicide, and Llewyn Davis is now trying to make his way as a solo act. I did like they played some clips, I think, of them together, and the voice of the guy who played Mike, who played his partner, was Mumford. Is it Marcus Mumford? It's one of the Mumfords. Whichever Mumford is the Mumford that's saying, it's that Mumford. So, and he is also that Mumford happens to be the husband of Carey Mulligan. So it all kind of syncs, that, I wonder if they met during this. I don't know the full story, but it's just funny that, and his voice is very distinct. If you know Mumford and Sons, you know that voice. It's not one of these things where everyone in the world knows it, but if you're a Mumford fan, and my wife, listens to them a lot, you definitely recognize his voice. It's funny, the stars, I was trying to pick up the list of actors in this movie, and Oscar Isaac, Carey Mulligan, and then the third build is John Goodman, and the fourth build is Garrett Hedlund, who played Johnny Five. And it's funny, Johnny Five in the 60s, Johnny Five is, the robot name in Short Circuit. John Five is a well-known rock and metal guitarist today. And I wonder if he took his name from... No, because Johnny Five, this is a fictional character who, I guess... Is he a poet? I never quite understood. I don't know why he gets fourth billing. But when you realize then it's Justin Timberlake, then it's Ethan Phillips, who I know from... Isn't he in one of those Star Trek TV shows when he has lots of makeup on? Right? Wasn't he in... Yeah, Star Trek Voyager. He was on that for forever. But I've seen that guy in a million different things. It's pretty much Oscar Isaac and everyone else. It's him floating around and everyone who kind of he interacts with. You never really... I don't think you ever leave him. You're never without him. He is, I think, in every scene completely. But people float in and out. You got Max Casella as a kind of a prick, but he's a club owner. You got Justin Timberlake, who's married to Carey Mulligan, who Oscar Isaac is in love with, and he gets her pregnant. And apparently, that's happened before with him, and he knows how to help, a woman who doesn't want her kid to did they say take care of it in the 60s? He has a doctor who kind of just does it for him. And he's a fan of him. Oh, I haven't seen you around the club. It's almost like he has connections that help him get things. But, Chris said he's kind of an asshole. He is kind of an asshole. He's kind of an asshole to his sister. He has a sweet moment with his father that I think connected with his father. He's a real asshole to the Gorfines. Oh, my God. They did nothing. Now, all they did was, I mean, she started singing along, and then she apologizes to him later for being a complete dick. I do like that it seems like these people always have guests, and they're like, oh, you're Mitch and Lillian's folk friend. Like, he's their folk friend. It also makes me think, like, a lot of these people, there's just a scene, right? Is it the Village in New York? There's a scene where these people want to befriend these musicians to the point where he's staying with them. I mean, Llewyn Davis is a well-known folk act in the folk world. He's a working musician, and he's homeless, right? I mean, he doesn't even have an address when he does do the session work. Imagine being so good you could be a session musician. Like, just, okay, maybe you never get in a band that hits it. Maybe you can't write a song that, that connects with the world. But you're so good at your musicianship that you can just be brought in to play. Oh, that'd be incredible. Like an incredible life. I worked on that song. I worked on that. But he doesn't get royalties because it was for whatever reason of who he wanted to get paid so quickly. They didn't even want to go through his agency and his record label. So he doesn't, and the song's going to be a hit, and he can't even do that right. Like he's not going to get royalties on it. This movie. Oh my goodness. Let's do the plot of the movie. A folk musician tries to get his career in order. There. I think that's it. He tries to get his career in order while also dealing with a woman he's in love with who's married to Jim. Jim just seems to be a wonderful guy, Justin Timberlake. That whole scene, that song with Timberlake and Adam Driver and Oscar Isaac was so much fun. And again, another thing that felt like it was just hit record and go. I wonder how many takes it took. I wonder if that was filmed, done live. So awesome. And like Adam Driver seemed like, what the hell was he even doing there? But he was adding stuff to it. It just felt like a real song. And I guess because it was an amalgamation of songs that came around in the past, that it couldn't be nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song. I read that in the trivia too. So this guy, he has no money. He has no place to live. His married love interest is pregnant, and he can't even keep track, when she's going to get her abortion. He connects the people who he's close to, he pushes away. He ends up he's so irresponsible that he lets these people's cat out. Then the cat gets lost. He picks up a cat. I was like, there's no way that's the right cat, the same cat. And I have to admit, Llewyn lost me a little bit as far as rooting for him. And when he left the cat, with Roland Turner, with John Goodman, who was incredible in the few minutes he was in, and I don't know if they made him up bigger, because I don't think he's even that big anymore. Like, he's lost a lot of weight. But this is over 10 years ago. He played just a complete asshole jazz musician who has his own valet driving him places. And he's very over the top, flamboyant, with a weird haircut. He can barely walk, and he's addicted to heroin. He has an OD in his valet. Johnny Five's like, he's all right. Let's just get him in the car. But that guy gets arrested, and they, all of a sudden Llewyn's in this car with this guy who's passed out, just trying to come down from an OD, basically. And he's like, I'm just going to leave. He knows he's not that far away from Chicago. He thinks he's going to get a break, possibly getting to go talk to a bigger record label, a producer, and a club owner. So he just leaves the cat with the passed out John Goodman. And the cat's look, I'm a dog guy. I've never owned a cat in my life, but the look on the cat's face, I was like, oh God, nope, Llewyn, you almost fully lost me there. And then he goes to Chicago, and then he gets to meet F. Murray Abraham, who runs this club, who just tells him point blank, play something for me, and just stays like a stone wall as he pours his heart out, plays this great song. But I thought, well, if he doesn't like it, it doesn't connect. And it didn't connect with him. He goes, I don't think there's money in you, but you're talented. Would you be willing to cut your beard into a goatee and join a trilogy, like a group. You think of how many groups in the 60s were put together. They weren't a bunch of musicians who got together, started a band, and then started playing clubs and then got a record label. Like, the labels would take you and put you together. Hey, you, and you. Let's get together, make a group. And he loves this as his career. He screams at, at the Gorfines, because the woman sings along and she's like, I'm not some trained monkey. This is my life. This is my career. This is what I do for a living. And then when the producer says, or the agent, whatever he was, says, hey, do you want to do this? He chooses his artistic integrity over, doing anything for this guy, which would have made him probably a little more successful and made him some money. He just chose not to do it. And I'm thinking, buddy, you could do both. You could do this and do your other thing on the side. It was, Oscar Isaac was incredible. I think when this trailer first came out, I'm like, who is this guy? I kind of remember this, but I get this mixed up with, did the Coens do, is it An Ordinary Man or something? I think I get these movies not mixed up, but they kind of cross paths because they're both dealing with this one character, and I never saw the movie, and they were Coen brothers. And I don't even know if I knew this was a musical movie until, Chris foisted it upon me, and I'm glad he did. Also, let me mention Max Casella, who has carved out a role as a character actor through the years, but he's still Vinny Del Pino from Doogie Howser, MD, for me first. There, I said it. So he doesn't go with this guy. He goes back to New York. I thought he was going to crash his car as he's falling asleep. I'm starting to not look. I'm waiting for something to come out, and a cat comes out. And my only thought is, the cat got away from John Goodman. It was out there on the roads. It's the same cat. You killed it. You hit it. It's going off now to die. I'm so mad at you, Llewyn Davis. I'm angry. I agree with your sister, and I agree with Gene. You're an asshole. Like, these are the things, and yet you're still sympathetic to him. You still want him to make it, but he ends up just going back and playing the same club. And I do like how they bookended the beginning and the end, and they kind of give you a better idea of, at the beginning, you see him playing this song, and it's really well done. And Poppy's like, hey, it was a little crazy last night, but no problem. It's the music business. Hey, someone in the back wants to talk to you. And he gets punched, and you don't really know what it's about. And at this, they do the same thing again. Now you know that his acting up the night before was him getting annoyed by the people playing this club and drunk and yelling at this woman, really being abusive to her. And the next night, he plays it really good. And we found out it was that guy's husband who beat the shit out of him. And, says, you think, who do you think you are, basically? We're leaving this town. You can have it. I don't know who that guy was, but he was pretty cool. Just whoever the hell. I don't think we actually ever. Oh, I never actually looked to see who it was, but I thought that was just a cool character in the shadows. This mysterious guy who beats the crap out of him, but really just a husband sticking up for his wife. I liked his record label. Like, for some reason, he's signed with these ancient people that, like, they're kind of comedic to each other. I don't know if they're husband and wife or just he works for her, but this guy Mel and his assistant, and they were just very old-fashioned. Later on, when he goes to work at the session work at Columbia, I mean, this place looks top-notch, top-of-the-line, gorgeous. That was a really fun scene. Probably the most fun scene, and even Adam Driver in it for a few seconds. I love that all these apartments have these tiny little hallways they go down to. Even the nice people, they're just down this hallway. Timberlake was great in the moments he was in. Really, not much, but he was definitely not a villain. He wasn't an abusive husband. He was just, a normal dude who could sing and play guitar. I liked that they had that army guy playing Troy Nelson, who, I'm sorry, Troy Nelson's the character name, who was like, he looked like a real stiff, but then he got up on stage and he really sounded nice. He played guitar, and it was just a really, really great movie with incredible performances. The story didn't need to be some crazy plot. In fact, if the IMDb trivia is to be believed, the Coens said, we really don't have much of a plot here, and that's why we added the cat in, to give him something. And even if they didn't have the cat, I would have been okay without it, because dealing with animals and cats, and especially not your cat, and open windows, and it gets me nervous, like something bad's going to happen. But at the same time, if they didn't have it, I just enjoy I love movies with big stories and twist endings and all this stuff, but sometimes I enjoy the character study. And the fact that this movie's called Inside Llewyn Davis should give you an idea that we're just inside his world for a little bit. We don't know his relationship with his dad. We don't know. All of a sudden, he also does merchant marine work, but he can't get that going quite right because he didn't pay his dues, and then he can't find his license because his sister threw it away, even though he told her to throw everything away. It's just like he can't catch a break, and but he also doesn't take advantage of all the breaks that he could have, as far as F. Murray Abraham's thinking. And like playing certain clubs, he'll be like, "Oh, this place." Like he almost messes it up with Poppy's Club. I'm tired. I think. I'm trying to think if I nailed it. I don't know. Did I? I mean, I covered just about everything that I think I wanted to. Again, the music, ridiculous, and not even just the music, but it's because the music is part of the movie. There's scenes where he's like, "Let me just pick up a guitar and play." And it's like so moving because you kind of see this relationship between him and his dad without anything. Like his dad, at one point turns away. His dad at one point closes his eyes. Like I don't know if his dad was, that he didn't have all his faculties and it was connecting, or if he's just a curmudgeon, but it was connecting. I don't know, but the music is a character in this movie, and it worked. Plus the fact that it's about musicians, and the musicians appeared to all really be playing and singing, just made it that much more enjoyable for me. Christopher, my friend, my co-host, my one-time neighbor, my street football teammate, wiffle ball teammate. We agree on one thing. This movie. Well, we agree on many things, and I meant to say you instead of we, and I just tried to follow with it. You were spot on with this movie. You nailed it. I am very glad that I watched it today. So winner. This is a winner, folks. Now, most of them are. Not all of them are. I'm not gonna name names. He knows the movie. Even when it's not a winner, it's not because I thought it was bad. It's just it didn't think it was all that great. And this, it lived up to everything that I hoped it would be, and it was just an impressive movie, impressive acting, impressive production as far as just the execution of real life. Or not real life, but realistic folk musicians in the 60s. And I would love this if the sequel to this was an unofficial sequel, was A Mighty Wind, because, Chris, if you haven't seen A Mighty Wind, that's Christopher Guest's mockumentary about old folk musicians getting together to play this festival. And it is, first of all, it's hilarious. It's incredible. And the music in it is pretty great, too. So there's another connection with me and folk music. And that's a movie that me and my wife, or my wife and I, if you like grammar, we went out of our way to drive like an hour to the only movie theater in the area that plays it, that was playing it. And it was worth it. And we own it on DVD somewhere. We have a stack of DVDs without a DVD player plugged in anywhere. But that's one of them. Fantastic. And this movie was fantastic, to steal a word from Chris. Fantastic, Chris. You did it. You nailed it. And it's funny, as Oscar Isaac, again, yeah, this was before he, not to, nerd out here, but this is before Star Wars. And remember, just a couple years later, Llewyn Davis and Al Cody are, face to face. One, the evil Sith, and the other, a nice X-Wing pilot. But not here. No. I wonder if I'll watch another movie tomorrow with someone else from Dune, any of the Dune movies in it, because I've now done 2 in a row here with Chalamet and, Oscar Isaac. I don't know. I wonder if I might watch another one tomorrow. I honestly don't plan to, but I just want to say Chalamet. So that's it, my friends. Thank you, Christopher. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Mastodon.social, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Mastodon, all that. Did I say Twitter and Threads? And Mastodon.social and Blue Sky at Geek Mentality. The Facebook page is Fans.Experts. The YouTube channel is Fans.Experts. And the website is fans.experts.com. You can find our other podcast at Find_movies on Twitter and Find Spirits on Instagram. And that's it. I'm done. Say goodbye, David. Oh, wait, wrong podcast. All right, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Christopher. Until tomorrow, my friends, happy Sunday. And here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans not experts.
I'm gonna show you.